Hello everyone and welcome back to Russell's Movie Reviews, the show where I review stuff that's mostly pretty good and maybe one of the best movies of all time, or a film that absolutely sucks and should remain in the depths of hell. Now last time in our Gamera marathon, we talked about Gamera versus Giren, which I consider was a pretty weak film overall. Now this film is now the film this today we're going to be talking about is Gamera versus Jiger, which came out on March 21st of 1970. Um, Now, this is kind of the point where, in terms of, I guess, quality, by this point, it really kind of starts to show that it's really going downhill. Grandly, there's no flashback scenes in this film, which is a good thing. It didn't drag out the movie necessarily, or pointlessly, I should say. Um, and the budget was raised. I think the previous film was made on a $24 million budget. This film and the next film were both made on the $35 million budget. So it was increased, but not by much. Still wasn't in like 40 million range like the second and third films. Um, but um, they didn't have to rely on stock footage to kind of increase the film. They had enough money to at least, you know, film the entire film with new or fill the entire film with new footage. So that is, I guess, a good thing to keep in mind. Um, and so yeah, I guess I can't really talk about my personal history because this is like with the previous few films. This is the first time that I'm seeing this. So um you know, I kind of just went into this with a blind eye. So yeah, let's get on to the plot. So Japan is preparing for an expo being held in Osaka. On Wester Island in the Pacific Ocean, a large statue of mysterious origin called the Devil's Whistle is located by scientists. The removal of the statue is hampered by the arrival of Gamera, who attempts to prevent the removal of the statue but is not successful. Shortly after the statue is removed, members of the crew begin to fall ill. It appears um, it appears to be from the statue itself, which also produces a continuous piercing sound that drives many of the crew insane. Also, by this point, when the statue is removed, a monster called Jiger makes her appearance and gets Gamera's immediate attention. After a couple fights, Jiger impregnates an egg inside of Gamera's body, and the friendly monster is presumed to be dead. It is up to the government and the children to figure out how to stop Jiger and see what is exactly wrong with Gamera. Now, that whole I'm just gonna get this over with real quick. The whole presuming that Gamera's dead thing. There's two reasons why no one's really gonna believe that. One, because um, you know, if it's Gamera versus Jiger, he's gonna have to fight him at some point in order to defeat him. So killing, quote unquote, killing him off halfway through the film, yeah, that ain't gonna work. Also, and the most alarming fact is that there's two more films after this, so killing him off right now would just be like a big like the fuck. Um, so yeah, it kind of just seems like why would you kill him off, now? But yeah, spoiler alert, they don't. Even though, do you really count that as a spoiler? I mean, I guess you really don't. Um, but with that aside, um, I feel I'm just gonna say this right now. This is a big improvement over the previous film because I thought if you guys have seen my previous review, which will be on the end card somewhere, I thought that that film was just a giant snooze fest. While this film actually feels like a proper Gamera film. There were some cringy points, which one of the most notable scenes is one of those cringy moments, which I'll get to when I get to that point. Um, but overall, I actually quite enjoyed this film, which was an honest surprise for me because I knew that. Uh, I mean, it kind of already started going downhill with the previous film, but I expected by this point that the Gamer films were either going to be mediocre or just straight up bad. And this one honestly surprised me. It was a fairly good Gamera film, but I've already said it's better than the previous film. But is it better? I don't think it's better than the previous four. I mean, probably better than Gamera versus Virus, but not. I don't think it's better than the original three. But it's certainly a good Gamera film that I feel like everyone should watch. I do warn you that I'm just gonna state this kind of right up front before I actually get to the nitty gritty. Don't watch this film first. Um, I say watch. One of I say watch the first first, and then possibly go and watch this film because, um, this film is kind of how I think I mentioned this. I'm trying to remember which review was it. I think it was either the previous review or the virus video, or it might have even been the Gauss video. That these gamer films are a lot more gorier than the Godzilla films, but this one's like kind of king of like, holy crap! Like, why is this so gory? Which I'll get to some of the points later. But um, I want to talk about the Kennys in this film because I mentioned that in the previous film that I just thought that they were just straight up bad. Not the fact that I mean, yeah, granted they were screaming Gamera the entire time, but um, it's just the fact that they were just boring and they didn't, really bring anything to the table. And I mentioned that I felt like that their characters had a good plot outline that it was just wasted throughout the entire second half of the film. Uh, this film, the Kennys are actually good characters, kind of like the first three films, or the technically the first and the third film, because there wasn't a Kenny in Gamera versus Baragon. So yeah, the first and third films. Uh, um, no, but like honestly, I felt like that the Kennys in this film were actually fine. They were actually good. Um, they were good. Main characters, and they actually did something. They actually, kind of proved something, and like well, I shouldn't say prove something. They basically said, hey, no, they basically gave the government an idea of how to stop the monster, which is Jiger, which I'll get to later in my favorite scenes. Um, but yeah, I honestly thought that they weren't annoying. I mean, the little girl wasn't kind of annoying, but even then, she wasn't really that much in the film in terms of annoying. But yeah, I thought that the Kennys were fine. All the supporting actors are fine. I do gotta say, one of the most notable things that people talk about when they talk about this film is the dad of the main Kenny. Um, he there's nothing wrong with his character. I mean, we've had kind of comedy characters in some of the previous films. One I can think of immediately is in the previous film with the whole police officer. Um, but um, I can't believe I'm literally about to say this, but this guy, this Kenny's dad. So yeah, this Kenny's dad is the inventor of a submarine that's going to this expo, and for some fucking reason, they had his character have a Hitler mustache, and I actually have a screenshot of it. I'm gonna pop it up right now. But yeah, the character literally has a Hitler mustache, and I don't understand why. There it is. Let me. I'm gonna give the camera a little bit of time to focus on it. Yeah, like what the hell? Why does your main character's dad have a Hitler mustache? No, let me. I don't know how that's coming up on camera. Oh, Oh yeah, you get to actually see it better now. But why? Why is that even a thing? I don't. Oh my notes almost just fell. Why is that even a thing? I don't get it. So um, there's nothing wrong with the character himself. It's just the more the fact of why the fuck does he have a Hitler mustache? Um, besides that, all the supporting characters are fine. And like I said, even like there's nothing wrong with the dad's character as a whole. It's just the fact of that, like, why the fuck does he have a Hitler mustache? But anyways, going past that point, um, this is kind of like one of those like monster films where like the humans are at fault for this, and like the main monster is like, oh shit, now I gotta go and put up with these dumbasses, decision. So yeah, so like I said, they want the statue for the expo, and I like not even like 5 minutes after they take it out and they're delivering it to Japan, like the majority of the ship's crew gets sick, and Jiger pops out of the ground, and then has a quick fight with Gamera, and it's like before it was like either it was. I mean, granted, we've had that with Baragon, but by this point, it's kind of just repeating the formula, and I don't really like it. It just seemed like that they wanted to. They were like by this point, like I said, I kind of said it earlier. By this point, they were really running out of ideas. So like, okay, shit. What works previously? Okay, let's just basically take the same kind of structure from Gamera versus Baragon and just craft a new story around it. Which, granted, is a good story, and I like the film. I just don't. I just kind of see it as like this. Okay, they're running out of ideas, and it's kind of obvious. Uh, but Grantley in Baragon, it was like one person who was just a greedy asshole, while this film kind of shows that like almost everyone's a greedy asshole. Where they were like, "Oh, we need this statue for the exhibit. Let's just take it out of the ground without even considering what, you know, any mysterious things have gone on." And all of a sudden, Jiger pops out, and they're like, "Oh shit, how did he pop up?" And it's like, well, and then they slowly kind of start figuring out throughout the film. It's like, oh, maybe it's because of the statue, and you're like, well, no shit. Um, but they do kind of get their lesson at the end. Like, okay, maybe, and even by the end of the film, they're not even like, no, we need to keep this statue here. They're like, okay, yeah, maybe let's take it back to the island where it was and leave it there and let it fucking rest, and let's just make a replica of it to put it at the expo so that it's still represented, but we don't have to take the real thing and cause millions of deaths. So, good one. They do kind of have a character arc for all these characters. Um, the monster fights are good. I do like them. I mean, granted, they're probably the best parts about all of them. So, except for a future film, which I'm gonna get to in about 2 reviews. Um, and I guess favorite scene, besides all the monster fights, is when, as I mentioned in the plot, uh, Jiger kind of impregnate, uh, impregnates Gamera with a baby, or with an egg that has basically Jiger's baby, and it basically makes Gamera invulnerable for a good chunk of the middle of the film, and um, the boys' idea is to basically trick the adults to go and deal with something while they I guess quote unquote steal the submarine, but they basically take the submarine, travel inside Gamera's body with a walkie-talkie to keep in contact with everyone else, um, and go and see what the problem is. And they soon realize that yeah, it's Jiger's baby that's inside Gamera's body. And at first they're kind of like, okay, well shit, how do we kill it? And then I think it sprays something on the walkie-talkie, and the kid's like, "Damn it!" Throws it on the baby's head, basically, and the frequency of the radio is hurting the baby. Is basically hurting the baby so much that it kills over and it dies. And it's like one of those moments where you kind of just watch it and you kind of pause it and you're like, what the fuck just happened? So, and that kind of amused me when I watched it. I was like, that's just like one of those. I literally kind of yelled out, like, kind of just spoke out, like, what the fuck was that? And then they obviously explained it that uh, the the frequencies that Jiger puts out is high is like a high frequency noise, while the noise from the walkie talkies is kind of like a low frequency, and obviously, um, you know, since it produces high frequency energy, what if it what if we can kill it with low frequency energy? Short to the point, it doesn't really work, but they managed to revive Gamera in time to stop him before he destroys the. Before. Actually, I've been calling Jiger a he throughout this entire film, but apparently, according to script, actually from plot details, that Jiger is actually a female, which I believe is actually the first female monster that Gamera ever fights, and I think it's the only one. Um, at least in the entire Showa era. I don't know about in the Heisei era or in Gamera the Brave. But I know that in the show era, I think this is the one and only time that he fights a lady monster. Um, which you honestly don't find that much. But anyway, but yeah, that's like my whole favorite sequence is really the boys going inside Gamera's body and figuring out what the weakness is to Jiger. I always thought that that was kind of like a cool moment, and it kind of showed, uh, kind of gave the Kennys of a thing to do that was important to the plot and wasn't them just screaming Gamera. Um, Cringy moments, or I guess my least favorite moments, which technically counts as cringy moments, because I didn't really have any least favorite moments except for like cringy ones, which is what I'm going to be talking about now. Is probably one of the most infamous scenes from the film, where after, like I said, after Jiger impregnates Gamera with the baby, or with the egg, the scientists explain what's going on, like how there's a certain spot in Gamera's, like, I think it's Gamera's lungs, that the baby's kind of, or the egg just kind of just manifesting, and they're like, and the doctor is like, so here, let me show you this old film, and they show, uh, black and white footage of an elephant who got, I think it, like a larva egg was growing in its trunk, and oh boy, if you guys hate cringy moments or like cringe at this sort of thing, skip to about 20 to 30 seconds after this point. So skip if you don't like it. Basically, they show a clip of um, them cutting open the elephant's trunk and larvae spilling out all over the place. And that was a moment that I was like, nope, that's it. Nope, I can't do it anymore. And I simply just looked away. I could not deal with it, and I was just, no. Thank God I so far have not put actual clips, because even then I wouldn't have shown it. So, yeah. Thank God I. You guys should be thankful that I don't really know any editing skills. But yeah, that's probably my least favorite moment, because just simply the fact that I watched it and I cringed so much at it, and I think really anyone else would. Um, I guess fun facts is that this film was filmed at the Real Expo 70 in Osaka, Japan. So yeah, the expo is called Expo 70, and it was filmed apparently at the Real Expo 70 uh, in Osaka. So I thought that was actually a pretty cool um, was a pretty cool thing. And then according to the director, this is the second fun fact, is that, yeah, according to the director, the idea of Jiger injecting its offspring into Gamera was done as a cost-cutting measure, because, like I said, over the previous couple films, that by virus, they really started reducing the budgets for all the Gamera films by this point. So it was they kind of had to use the money kind of wisely. So um, I think that's honestly a pretty cool idea to kind of well, yeah, a pretty cool nifty kind of thing to do is, hey, we need to save some money, so why don't we just have Gamera not appear in like half of the film, or like be inactive, let's say, throughout a good chunk of the film, so that we don't use that many special effects. Which it's just like that's a it's like sneak a 100. Um, but yeah. So, final thoughts on Gamera versus Jiger. As I said near the beginning of this review, this is honestly this surprised me with how good it was, especially by this point where, as I mentioned in the previous review and earlier in this review, I didn't really like Gamera versus Baragon, or Gamera versus Giran, sorry. Um, and I was like, okay, well, this is the definitely the point where the quality of the like me actually liking the films is gonna start going more and more down. But like I said, this uh, definitely surprised me. Uh, but it isn't as good as the original three, or as the first three Gamera films. So I'm gonna give this film a C. So stay tuned for Monday, guys, where I'm gonna be reviewing Gamera versus Zigra, and stay tuned for next Friday, where we're gonna end off the first Gamera marathon with Gamera Super Monster, which, oh boy, that's probably gonna be a film that you guys are gonna be waiting to watch me just suffer inside from that film. But that's let's save that till next week. So anyway, guys, stay tuned for next Monday for the Gamera versus Zigra review. I might have a video in between the Zigra and Super Monster reviews. If not, again, see you in the Super Monster review. You can click over here on my beautiful face to go to my channel and click down there at, or you can just click down on my name or my channel name to go to my channel. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to get notified when future videos are coming out. And make sure to go and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to get notified when future videos are coming out as well. And also make sure to follow me on Twitch because I do occasional live streaming every once in a while. And I just want to say this real quickly. I know that some people have brought it up that the Instagram link wasn't working, so I changed. I got a new link for it because I changed the username. So for both the videos now and for the channel or for the homepage. So hopefully now the Instagram link should work. If not, you can easily go to my Twitter page and some of the or some of the posts I made on Twitter uh, have a link to my Instagram page, and you can easily just go and follow me there. But anyway, I just want to stress that because I know that I was probably getting some complaints for that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for the Gamera versus Zigra review. Live long and prosper. Out.